After what seems like an eternity, I'm finally back making a video. It's been 3 weeks since I needed to make a video, and I'm finally sitting down to make one. I feel like shit for procrastinating this long. But since we are here, let's start. So, today I would like to do things a little bit different. First, let's discuss and start by taking out the juice. So, what were the mistakes I made within this period? First, I procrastinated a hell lot, which isn't obvious, obviously, but that's the mundane part of this life. That's the mundane truth. That even though I needed to make this video, I procrastinated 2 entire weeks for it, and that was one of the most important mistakes I made. The second mistake I made was watching and reading too much fiction. Uh, by the way, I completed the anime series Code Geass entirely, and I loved it. I really fucking loved it. So that was one of the most deadly mistakes I made by starting an anime which was really good. And if the story is really good and you are getting hooked onto it, and you need to be working, but you are still watching the series, then it's peak, right? And it was. Now the third thing was that I wasted huge blocks of time here and there. I was available to a lot of people, and as a result, I wasn't available to the one person who needs me the most, which is me, my own work. And I realized this like many times throughout these 2 weeks that after coming to the gym from 7 to 8, I was in the gym, I was lifting, I was talking, I was having a great time. Then from 8 to 9, I would waste my time. Why? I don't know, because I was just too exhausted. The average temperature right now in my city is around 40 degrees Celsius, which is quite hot and humid. And all these factors I gave into, and I was just wasting time, precious time. And I realized this quite some time earlier, that instead of like going to the gym then wasting an hour, I can simply just go to the gym, and then after coming back I can do a normal menial exercise like sit and close my eyes for 5 to 10 minutes to calm myself down, and then do the next thing which I was going to do, which normally for the past few days has been guitar. So I could just transition to guitar without wasting a lot of time. But even after realizing this mistake, I still kept on making the same mistake day after day. Even yesterday, I made the same mistake. Like I went to the gym at 7, thinking that I would come home at 8:15 and I would sit down and participate in a lead code contest. But when I came back, I was just too mentally exhausted and tired, and I didn't sit down. So what did I do? I wasted my fucking time. By doing what? I don't even remember. Like that's the beauty of spending time these days. Earlier, when people used to spend time, they used to waste their time. They knew that okay, I was drinking with this one person. Okay, I went on a walk and met this one person. I was reading this peak fiction. I was helping my mothers in the chores. But now, if we ask someone that how did you waste their time, the most probable answer which we will get is that, oh, I was just dumb scrolling on my phone. Oh, I was watching funny cat videos on YouTube. Oh, I was listening to covers from artists. Oh, I was just watching shorts. And all these things which I personally thought that I was immune to, I still did them on a normal daily basis, which I hate. I really hate wasting my time, but I did. And these are few things which I thought that are my mistakes, which eventually led me to having this not being able to accomplish my task, my goals which I set out for the week. And mind you, these are not like really giant, great strategical mistakes which I made. These mistakes on the outer seem quite boring, quite mundane. That yeah, he wasted time, yeah, he procrastinated, yeah, he watched too much fiction. But these are real mistakes which I made, and I consider myself quite disciplined, but still I made them. So this teaches us that by memories, by the past, which we remember, the 90% of the past is repetitive and the 10% is what we remember. Alex Hormozy has this great quote that you should automate 95% of your meals so that you can enjoy the 5% which aren't repetitive. Like most of the time, most of our meals aren't really that great, right? Aren't really that memorable. But those 5% times they are. Like, remember the one time which you went out with your parents and you had a great time. Like that one time which you went out with your girlfriend and you had a great time. You talked a lot about her dreams, your ambitions, and your life together. The one time which you went out with your friend and had a nice talk about the good old days. Like these 5% of the meals which you have are really memorable. But what about the 95% of the meals which aren't? In which you just doom scrolled while eating your food, or in which you just watched a Netflix documentary while eating your food. These foods don't really cost much, but we still waste a lot of time in them, right? And personally, as a foodie, I waste quite a lot of my mental capacity each day on thinking what I would eat. And it seems quite dumb to me that when what the kind of impact I want to have on this world is of the greats like Elon, like Rockefeller, like Warren Buffett, like all these great people. And here I'm thinking about what food I'm gonna eat this evening. What would I eat in the breakfast tomorrow? Will my mother make this dessert for me? Oh, I want to eat a burger. Like when someone wants to accomplish this and he is thinking about things like this, there's so much disparity that I fail to fathom myself that am I the person who I say I am? So yeah, these were the mistakes. Now what I learned. Now these are really two great learnings which I had this week. First one came when I was sitting in a McDonald's with my friend. Like we both had bowling class and she was doing her usual thing and I was just rattling like I used to. And I realized that for the past my entire life I have been good at grades. I have been good at studying even though I hated it. I hated with a passion, but I had been great at studies. I was accepted as a student who was good in studies. And when I failed JEE, that self image which I had created, that I am this person who, if he studies, can do anything, that self image which I had broke. Because for the first time, even if I studied, it didn't work out in the end. And since then, I had been in a self pitying cycle that started, instead of me happening to life started happening to me. Instead of me being this high testosterone boy who would wake up at 6 to study 2 hours before going to his coaching, before going to his school, and coming back sleeping for an hour, who would work entirely on his own throughout the day, I became this lazy douchebag for whom even 4 hours of work was satisfactory. Like on the days I worked 4 hours, I was quite happy with myself and I thought that I accomplished something. And I started to feel in that moment quite disgusted with myself that from where I had come and what I had become. Like that was huge for me. From working 10 to 12 hours a day, I had started to work like 5 to 6 hours a day. And that was a huge gap in me, which I saw. So I realized that the self image I had created had broken. But what do we do when you fail? Like everyone knows what to do when you do something big, when you achieve something big. You go do something better. Like Steve Jobs had this great quote that if you do something and it turns out to be great, just do just go do something else better. Like he had this quote. But he never told us about what should we do if we did something, we tried something and failed for the first time. And the first time failing JEE was the first time for me, and was quite hard because my aspirations were to go into an IIT or MIT or Harvard. Like all, I saw all these great institutions where world class students came to study, and here I was going to a tier 3 college. So the difference between them and me was way too high. And instead of thinking that, oh, I can get that 40 LPA job, oh, I can create that SaaS product, oh, I can go viral as a writer, I started to think that I will do 7 lead code questions a week and I won't think much about the outcomes I get. I will leave them on to nature, on to God, and I will just do what I need to do. Like that's a really great way to think when you know the outcomes, when you know the inputs which will produce outcomes. But mostly we don't really know, we are guessing. And many times in life we need to push through to get what we want. But I had lost that raw masculine energy of pushing through to get what I want. And that's where I lost. And so I realized that I need to break this cycle. Instead of self purifying myself that, oh, I am in this bad college, have to once again start to refer myself as the Neer Agrawal, as the person who will one day change the world, as the person who has these great ambitions. I needed to change my self-image once again, and instead of breaking it down, I needed to reinforce it. And this all quite clicked to me. Like I had realized this in the McDonald's, but this all clicked to me while listening to a podcast made by Founders Podcast on Arnold Schwarzenegger, the bodybuilder, and in which the host David Sandra said that Arnold really believed in positive thinking and having a great self-image. Even though he hadn't won anything, he used to consider himself a winner. He used to say that you are a winner, Arnold. You will be the greatest bodybuilder in the world, Arnold. And I remembered this. Upon listening this, I remembered that, oh yeah, there was once a time when I also used to do that, and I was quite happy, quite satisfied with my life back then. And here I am now. I'm quite dissatisfied with my life. I'm not content, even though I'm doing the things which I quite like. I'm still feeling this jittery feeling in myself that I'm not complete as a person. I'm not complete. I need some external validation to make myself feel something about me. And that's when I realized that my self image was crumbling and I need to improve that. The second thing which I learned was that I wanted to be people, I wanted to be someone like Light, Lelouch, Ayano Koji, like all these great anime characters who decided that they want to do something and then did it. Like I wanted to be them. I wanted to have their intelligence, their charisma, their thinking ability. And upon watching Code Geass, I realized that Lelouch had this goal, and in the end, he achieved it. And he achieved it with any means necessary, even though everyone was against him. Even his own sister, which meant more to him than his own life, was against him, and he still fought her. He actually saw the entire plan through the end and then executed it. Instead of pitifying himself, instead of drowning in self pity that, oh, I want to achieve this great thing, but no one is supporting me. Even my own sister is not supporting me. My own family members don't understand my vision. He went undercover. He took everyone's hate upon himself. He took the entire world's content, sorrow, disgust, unhappiness upon himself and died without letting anyone know of his sacrifices, the sacrifices he made. The world hated him, even though he was the one person who was suffering the most while trying to better the society. And in the end, only his sister realized that what he was. But even though no one realized how much he had support and what great feat he had accomplished, he still did accomplish it, just without his name on it. And that really taught me that instead of having this self pity that I can't go to this great college, or I don't have a MacBook yet, or I don't have the bike I want yet because of my poor financial conditions, or because of my poor intellect, or because of me having no skills, I can take some control back of my life once again. I can think. If I can't think like Light or like Lelouch, I can at least try to predict, I can at least try to invert the success I want from the things that will give them. No, I can explain this with a great point. Like the great investor Charlie Munger had this quote that invert always invert. Like for an example, as an example, Charlie Munger would think that in order to have a great life, he won't think what are the things I need to do. He used to think that what are the things I know will guarantee that I will have a really fucked up, a bad life. And for example, like getting into drugs, partying really, really late, not doing my work on time, not being patient with the results, and we are fighting with everyone, not understanding other people's point of view. Like he would write all these points which he would know will guarantee failure, and he would just invert it. Like if I know that not being patient enough would give me a bad life, then I just need to be patient enough to have a great life. If I know that doing drugs will make my life worse, then I just don't have to do drugs to have a good life. If I know that smoking will kill me, then I just don't have to smoke and I will live. He summarized his whole concept with this great quote that all I want to know is the place in which I'm gonna die and not go there. And I really think that's great. Many of these geniuses thought this way. They saw an end result and then created the map by linking from their starting place to their end place. And this is what I want to do. And I had been doing with these videos. I had been giving myself these weekly tasks which I wanted needed to complete, but I wasn't adhering to them as my life depended on it. And I realized that I needed to do that. I needed to be that person who would complete all his tasks every week, because so that after a year or after 1.5 years, these results start to compound and there becomes an exponential graph of my success. So that's the thing which I realized. And yeah, to my point, I'm heavily motivated by unrealistic dreams and unrealistic goals to be characters like Lelouch. Like, I don't know why, but I just think of them as really, really cool. And in my life, there is only one thing which I want to do is to be cool in my own eyes. And if I see something as cool, then I want to have it, be it, emulate it. And to me, and it doesn't demean me as a person. I don't think as it as bad. I just if someone plays soccer in a different way, and I think it is off cool. Like I think that person as cool, then I would just try and play like him. I would like to be cool instead of demeaning that oh he did this with his talent, or oh he did this because of this. I would try to be like him. If someone like Hikaru or Magnus can play at such a profound level chess, then and if I thought them as cool, then I would just try to copy them. And that's how my entire worldview is. If I think investing is cool, then I would try to learn investing. Yeah. And so what are the things which I did last week while procrastinating and not waking up video? First, I completed the series Chai or Backend from the YouTube channel Chai and Code. the backend series minus the assignments. Like I still need to do those assignments and I will do them. But I completed all the videos which I needed to watch and learned what I needed to learn. By the way, I still don't understand the aggregation pipelines in MongoDB, and they're quite hard. The second thing which I did was complete my essay on love and started writing another great essay about this realization which I had about self pity and what should I do, what should someone do if they fail bad and their self image just starts to crumble, what tasks or what things they need to do to realign their self image once again. And the third thing is I did 7 lousy lead code questions, which kind of makes me shameful at myself, or which makes me ashamed. But that's what I did. And here are the things which I have decided that upon the next week I will do. And yeah,